Beat of the month. Beat of the month. Gotta have me my beat of the month. Beat of the month. Beat of the month. Gotta have me my beat of the month. The Game Boy, the Xbox, the PlayStation 4. Gotta press pause cause your mom's at my door. Beat of the month. Beat of the month. Gotta have me my beat of the month. We game all month, give out points and sorts. Better look out, it's another Switch port. Beat of the month. Beat of the month. Gotta have me my
Welcome
beat of the
everyone
month.
to another episode of the Beat of the Month
Beat of the month.
podcast.
Gotta
Tonight's
have
episode
me
we're
my
doing
beat of the month.
RPGs. This is episode 14, running down the RPGs that we played for the month of January, then going through our favorite RPGs of all time. Tonight I am with Muff. Dark Side.
What's shaking, bacon?
Melbro.
It's me, Mel, bro.
Spiral.
Hola.
Moose.
Yo.
Bash.
Hey, what's up?
And Emil.
What up?
All right, Muff, I hope you break your vow of silence and kick us off with the RPGs that you played for the month of January.
All right, bitches. So
There we go.
RPGs, we've been plan ahead to give ourselves extra time. So I ended up finishing my RPG beginning of the month January. I played Trials of Mana. I picked up Black Friday. It was like $10, and it's more of an action fighting RPG. I prefer turn-based, but action fighting is pretty good too. Like Dragon Quest 11, if y'all haven't played that, that's a good one. You get up inside that. So, Trials of Mana, you got, calm down, bitches.
I'm just trying to I'm trying not to get up inside that though, you know what I mean?
Well, you need to get up inside that. Get some sleeps.
Gotta pace
So, Trials of
myself.
Mana, huh?
Ding ding, go ahead.
So you got 6 characters to choose from to be your main character. And then the other 5, you get to choose 2 of them to be part of your party eventually. But you start off, play your character type, and you get your story, the background, pretty decent story. And then as you play, later on, you pick up another character. That's not uncommon, but what was really cool about this is it gave you an option. Be like, all right, they're going to join you. You going to keep going, or would you like to get their backstory? And so you actually get a chance to play their backstory, so you got some more details behind it, which I thought that was pretty cool. You could have just been skipped it, but I like that.
You actually play it,
and then-
Muff?
Yeah, I did.
So you play it by
and then
yourself
later
as that character?
Yeah, so what'll happen is, so like I started as thief, and later on you run into a mage, and so then to get their story, you got to play as the mage, get their story.
That's cool.
Baby mama drama. It was pretty crazy.
It's always the baby mama drama with the mages.
Hey man, there's some titty meat flying up inside here, so you know it's gonna be some troubles.
Mm-hmm.
And then you make your way down up inside the story, and you're going, and you're leveling up and stuff. And then you pick up the other one, and you get to play their story. And so I picked Thief as my main, picked up the Mage as the other. The other one is probably a little bit. I thought she was gonna be like a part healer, part enhancer. She just helped enhance some shit. She didn't really heal shit. So I really didn't have a healer. But you really don't need it because there's a shit ton of items that you can collect. All kinds of items. Of all these fucking items, I only used 3. 1, to revive a bitch when they die. And the other 2 were 2 different level of healings. One's a candy, gets you a little bit of health, and another one's a chocolate, where you get a lot more health.
One's candy and one's chocolate.
Yeah.
They're both candy.
All right, go back to one's a chocolate
So-
and the other one's
So I didn't really need all them extra other items, really. So as far as weapons and gear and shit, I like creative shit where you get rare weapons. Not you reach level 20. This is what you have to choose from now. And that's how this was. You reach certain levels and like, okay, you bitches can use this shit now. And it's just like, man, there ain't nothing fun about that. Let me find a special box or some shit. Give me some special crazy ass sword or a flaming axe or something. And no, it's just you hit this level. This is your shit now.
Really? So you don't find like weapons as you go through? It's just once you reach a certain level, it's like, oh, you get this new weapon, and that's what you use by default, pretty much.
You go to the shop and then you buy that next line of shit.
Mm.
So that was a downer to me. Maybe I was spoiled from good games in the past with that shit. Not that this was a bad game. That's just something. I'd be more creative. Dragon Quest XI, you build your shit and that's y'all need to play that. That's a good game. But what was really cool, they got this system called seeds, and you go to an inn, you put your seed in the pot, and go ahead with your punchline, Darkside.
I traveled 500 miles to bring you my seed.
Lumberjack! Yes. And so you build these seeds, you plant these seeds, and you get items and shit. I mean, you get the chocolates and the candy. It's cool. That's helpful. But the higher you level up, and levels 1 through 5, you get the higher level 4 and 5, and then there's different types of seeds. Then you start getting the rare gear. So that made it a little bit more fun, having that stuff beyond just the basic shit at the shop. So you have to get seeds, and so I spent probably a day just farming seeds, because just like, you know what, I want to level this shit up. I don't give a fuck. I'm farm seeds and plant seeds. They got the level seeds up high, and then I got all that really cool gear.
What the fuck is happening?
So
Somebody put ×2 on most volume.
Huh?
Nothing. Go ahead.
You guys can't hear me?
No, you're
I can
good.
hear you.
No, we can hear you. We just got
Alright.
confused. Go ahead.
Well, listen, bitches. So then, one cool thing about character is you get up to like level 38 or some shit, and then you get these special seeds that allow you to take that next job class, and then you get to choose. So you get your thief like up to 38 or whatever, and then you get to choose what the next one. And it's 2 types. There's light and there's dark. As far as their abilities are different, as far as what you level up to and choose and what path you choose. I don't remember what I did for that one bitch, but the thief, I went ninja, and with the mage, I went witch, because I think witch is sexy as hell. And so I went that, and so that part of it was pretty cool. I wasn't going to go back and see what happened the other way. You don't really need to do all that. But if you're curious, go ahead, be up and go do it. So, and then the farming part. Thief, you get bonus, treasure, huntings and shit. And the mage just fucks shit up. So for the sake of making farming easier, thief and a mage are always, in most RPGs, that's probably the best way to go, because you get the bonus and the treasures and shit. And the mage just fucks shit up with the spells so quick that you get them seeds and shit a lot easier. So, I like that shit. I'll go up and I'll just nuke a bitch. That's fine. But overall, it was a good game. I think the websites say it takes like 40, 50 hours, and I put in 80 because I take my time.
It's work.
I like to have some fun. Again, the titty meat is just, and but yeah, I like to have a good time.
You play any of the other Mana games, Muff?
Yeah.
I ain't never been heard of it. No, $10. I was like, I got $10.
Secret of Mana?
Cinco de what?
Cinco de Mayo Mana?
Yeah, because there's a lot of games in this series, and this was like a remake of a Super Nintendo game that never made its way over here. That's why it was kind of a big deal when it came out.
It's not that big a deal. It's a decent game, but
Anybody
play it,
played
Brian?
any of the Mana games?
I played Secret of Mana back in the day on Super Nintendo.
Yeah, I played a little bit of that. I did not finish it because shout out to Stuker. Me and him were playing it co-op, and then we got halfway through, and he's like, "Yeah, I think I'm done with this game." So I was like, "Well, I'm screwed." So
I forgot it was co-op.
Yeah, it was co-op, which was unique back in. I mean, a
Right.
co-op RPG is not common.
I didn't. Go ahead.
3 players in the party, was that right for Secret of Mana?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think if you had a multi-tap, you could even play 3 players on the Super Nintendo.
I was just gonna say I didn't even realize that all those mana games were related. I just thought it was separate games altogether.
I mean, I think it's like Final Fantasy where they're not necessarily directly related. I don't know that for sure, but I mean, there's quite a few games in that series as far as I know. I mean, they get remade and they get different names and stuff. Like, I think the first Secret of Mana came over here in America as like Final Fantasy Adventure or something on the Game Boy, and then it got remade on the Game Boy Advance as Sword. You play that, Wally?
Yeah. It's alright. You can tell it's from like 1990, but it plays okay.
Because then that, I think, got remade as Sword of Mana on the Game Boy Advance. So, I mean, it's not the most straightforward series to kind of keep track of.
Muff, how many milks did you give that game?
Shit, like 3-3.
3-3.
Wait, is
So
that
not bad.
33 or?
Is that one better than half and half?
Oh no, but there's only 133. That's Scottie Pippen.
Wasn't Alonzo Mourning 33 on the Hornets?
Yeah, but he always
Here's
played
a
at
funny
night.
story.
Hey-o.
So I took Spanish class back in high school. I was a senior, and there's a bunch of freshmen up inside there, and I was just like, well, fuck, this ain't gonna go well. I could not pick up Spanish at all, and the teacher did not like me because you had to pick a different name for Spanish, and I picked Alonzo with a Z, and this bitch said, no, you spell it with an S. I said, bitch, I play it with a Z, and she gave me a D-. My pass.
Damn. D's get degrees?
That was a great story.
You got anything else about Trials of Mana, Muff, or what other RPGs you got going on?
Yesterday I started playing Rainbow Moon. That's good. That's a good game. It's turn-based. I prefer turn-based in most situations. But that one's going well. I've put in like 15 hours already in 2 days, mainly because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I was lost. And so I was just like, well, I'm just gonna be grinding on this shit for a while. Once I figured out, oh shit, there's more places to go, I was out-leveled the new monsters in the new area because all the fucking time I spent just fucking grinding on the little shit because I couldn't find my way out. But that's fun. I like it so far.
What is Rainbow Moon?
It's an RPG, turn-based.
It was like Sailor Moon or Rainbow Six?
Yeah, is it a match?
Sailor Moon? No, Sailor Moon is not in this.
It's gonna be a hard pass for me then.
Like if it doesn't have Sailor Moon, it's just hard pass on everything.
Was it made by Square?
What? Sailor Moon?
No. Rainbow Moon. Was Rainbow Moon? Is it a Square Enix game?
No, I do not believe so.
Oh,
It kind of looks like Wakfu, but every time I turn it on, it don't say nothing about no Square Enix.
Oh, maybe for some reason, maybe I just saw like a screenshot of it and I thought it was, but I was gonna say if it's a Square Enix game, it's one that's really flown under the radar because you do not hear much about it.
Yeah, it's when I looked it up, the Metacritics and reviews gave it about 80% across the board out of 8 out of 10. So I assume it's gonna get better. I mean, I like it so far. So.
You probably have it, Darkside, because I want to say it was a free PlayStation Plus game like a long time ago.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, it's on PS Now, so that's how I'm playing it.
Brian, it was developed by Side Quest Studios.
Oh,
I don't know who they are. So.
Yeah, I've never heard of them.
That's pretty good. Good for them.
Did it get a better Metacritic rating than The Medium?
Oh shit! What the Medium get? Like 70?
I thought Medium got Game of the Year, didn't it?
On the Moose
Awkward.
the Moose Awards.
No, the
Game-
Metacritic award.
GameSpot gave it a 9 out of 10.
What, Rainbow Moon?
No, the Medium.
Medium.
The Medium? That's the game that just came out, right?
Yeah.
And
You
that's
said
what all other games are
GameStop
based
gave it a
upon
9 out of
now?
10?
Mm-hmm. We all love GameStop right now.
Yes, we do.
Medium
Girl,
is
are
at
you GameStop? 'Cause
71%.
I'm trying to invest in you.
You got to buy and hold, Melvin. That's what you got to do.
Yeah. You good at holding?
Oh yeah.
All right, Muff, you got anything else about Rainbow Moon?
No, not yet. No, it's a good game. So far,
play-
I don't know. We'll see what happens.
You play anything else in January?
Yeah. Shitload of Tecmo Bowl. Tecmo Super Bowl. I'm trying to get Herschel Walker. If I could stop getting injured, he'd own all the receiving records, rushing records, kickoff return records. That bitch keeps getting hurt, so I put Chris Carter in.
The creator
And,
of X-Files is in Tecmo Bowl? Is that what I'm hearing right now? That's amazing.
Oh shit!
Tecmo
The truth
Super
is
Bowl,
out
bro.
there.
The ding-dang is out there.
What else I play? I've been playing some shit.
You been playing some Star Wars Squadrons?
I played Star Wars Squadron, yeah. And Clash Royale, of course. Been playing Clash Royale. Bitches go for 3 towers, man. God damn.
You gotta evolve or die, Muff, I think, is what's gonna happen with
No.
you in that game.
Be a man and go get all 3 fucking towers.
All right, Muff, you got anything else for January?
Final comments. Be a man, get all 3 fucking towers.
What's that, Brian?
You got anything else for January?
Not that I can think of.
All right, Dark Side, you want to run down the RPGs you played, or anything else in January?
Yeah, RPGs I played, probably the most epic RPG ever invented. Pussy Journey. Or, I'm sorry, it's called Cat Quest. Basically, it's a kind of like I don't know, Zelda-ish RPG. It's got the Zelda combat, but it's got the RPG grid and upgrade system of a normal, RPG. Story goes just like I think it was which Zelda is it that the ship crashes? Is that Link's Awakening?
That is.
Yeah. This game basically starts just like that. Your ship crashes, you're a cat. Cats run the world for some reason. And you wake up and you have no memory and you are like trying to figure out what the fuck happened. And so you run into, townsfolk and all these different monsters and whatnot and try to figure out what happened. Turns out you got a sister that you can remember and you're like, I got to find out where's my sister. She was on this ship. So you're running around all these towns trying to find your sister. And the whole time, you're running into cats. Basically, cats. It's just cats everywhere. There's cats and dragons, and then there's like sheep, and that's pretty much it. There's not really a whole lot of enemy variety. Just different variety of cats, different types of dragons that you're fighting, and lots and lots of cat puns. Like throughout the whole game.
I love pussy pun.
Yeah, pussy pun. Yeah. Your main character, has the whole time been like, I don't have any meowmery, and, instead of memory.
Oh gosh.
and
pretty weak pun.
yeah, it's constant.
Pussy
Like
buns.
it's constant throughout the game. And also he swears a lot, but they mask it. Instead of saying like fucking, it'll say furry. Like this is furry bullshit, or whatever. Or furry bukkake or whatever. I don't know. But
Bukkake.
yeah, there you go.
I ain't never been to see no furry bukkake, Chewbacca.
You get the gist of it. But it's all very silly and it's all mostly generic. But it was actually kind of fun. It was not a very long game. I think it's supposed to take like 15 hours. The leveling up system was simple. It's not complicated. The weapons, were cool, and it was very colorful and cute. And it was actually kind of funny. There was actually one section that I thought was pretty cool that broke the fourth wall, where you find an island and you meet the creators of the game. They just start talking to you about, oh, thanks for playing the game and everything. And, then they give you a map to a special dungeon that, gives you like better gear, basically. And also at the end of the game, there was a Shyamalan twist.
Oh boy.
That changed everything. I'm not giving it away, but it was a shocker.
They were dogs all along.
Yeah, they were dogs all along. They actually do allude to dogs for the sequel, which there is a sequel, which I found out just today, that you do play with dogs and cats. It's crazy, but no, it was fun. Nothing crazy, but a nice change of pace.
Would you recommend that, Darkside?
I wouldn't recommend you spend, I don't know, more than $5 on it. But if you're itching for a short RPG, you can't go wrong.
You gonna get Cat Quest 2?
I might. I heard it's not as good. I think that they screwed up some of the mechanics, is what I read. So I might see if it's free sometime or under $5. But who knows? Another RPG that I played in the month of January was Maneater. On the PlayStation 5, it was a PlayStation Plus free game.
It's another pussy pun.
No pussy pun. That game you play as a shark, and it's an RPG, and so there's a bunch of leveling up, and basically the story is actually weird. It takes place in two different forms. You play as the shark, and when you play as the shark, whenever anything happens, it's narrated by Chris Parnell from Saturday Night Live.
Yes.
And so he narrates the whole game, in his funny sort of way. And then there's the villain of the game, which is Scaly Pete is his name. And when you see his cutscenes, they're all done in the form of like a reality TV show. And it's like the drama between him and his son, basically. Like he wants his son to go to college, and his son wants to be a fisherman and make him proud. And every cutscene ends where Scaly Pete like just beats the shit out of the cameraman, and then the scene ends. And it's amusing, but it's all tongue in cheek and very, they're trying to make you laugh. And I'd say that maybe 50-50. The laughs hit, and the other is just kind of like, okay. Gameplay wise, it's more of an action RPG. You're swimming around eating shit, and that's how you level up. You just eat everything you can find, and then when you find people, you eat them, and then people in boats show up and just start shooting the shit out of you, and you eat them, and then you hide until you can do it again.
Yeah, the game, I played like the first half hour, and it starts off pretty fast. I mean, you're eating people like right away,
yeah.
Which I was pretty surprised.
Yeah, and the more you eat, the more you level up, the better. It's not gear, but it's like you can get different scales, or you can get different, teeth and bullshit like that, because sharks can change their teeth from.
Do you play as the same shark the whole game, or you like switching sharks?
Nope, same shark.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And why is he eating people?
Well, in the story,
Hungry.
Scaly Pete actually catches your mom while you're still in the womb, and so Scaly Pete cuts
Oh.
open your mom, and you fall out and bite his arm off, and then you jump in the ocean, and then you're like, I got to get revenge on this motherfucker for killing my moms.
Makes sense.
Yeah, typical shark, RPG.
Typical shark life, huh?
The game, I mean, it's similar to Cat Quest, where it's kind of mindless fun. It's not overly complicated. It's funny, it has references up the ass to like all sorts of different things. Just finding different checkpoints and different items. Just to go down the list of things, I think there's supposed to be way more than this, but I found references in the game to Demolition Man, SpongeBob SquarePants, Arrested Development, Waterworld, the movie Castaway, Happy Gilmore, Jurassic Park, It, and Pacific Rim.
Wow.
And, yeah. But it was a lot of fun. I'd recommend it,
I mean, for
And it's,
free, yeah, why
yeah,
not?
it's free
right?
on PlayStation Plus, So, I mean,
Quote
can't go wrong.
unquote free.
Well, yeah,
What did they
you
say
already
about,
paid for it.
What did they say about my boy Tom Hanks and Castaway?
You found there's certain flags or something like that you have to find, and when you found it, next to it was Wilson the ball,
Oh man.
and
I
then
gotta
Chris
play
Parnell
this.
said something about well, there's Castaway, blah 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 bullshit,
Classic.
Yeah. Those are the only two RPGs I played in January. I also played Astro's Playroom. I should have mentioned this before because I'm a Platinum King, but I did Platinum Cat Quest and I did Platinum Maneater because I'm the best.
You didn't play Cat Quest on Switch?
No, I played it on the PlayStation 4.
What are you doing?
That's what a real man do.
And I also platinumed the Astro's Playroom on the PlayStation 5. It was a lot of fun. I'm not really a platform guy, and everything controlled way better than Mario 64.
Okay, you mean a game that came out this year controlled better than a game that came out 2 decades ago? That's incredible. Tell me more.
It also controlled better than Super Mario Odyssey. I did play Super Mario Odyssey in January, and I was like, what are they even doing, man? And so that's why I played Astro instead, and I was hard the whole time. No.
Wow.
But, I mean, when you guys talked about Astro's Playroom in a previous episode, you complained about some of the gimmicky mechanics of it. I didn't have a problem with it. I just was like, they're showing off the controller. This is what it does, and they only lasted a few minutes, and then it were over. So I don't know what your guys' problem is.
Was
I
it as
don't like blowing their controllers, man.
were the gimmick parts as fun as the non-gimmick parts to you?
Well, I mean, that's like saying, is any part of any game just as fun as any part of any other, that game?
Yeah,
not
but-
everything's gonna be A+, but I mean, it's not like I'm sitting at, just running around was A+, and then like blowing in the controller, I just wanted to punch my dick.
I mean, the gimmicks were like half the game. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the game, but the gimmicks were like half the game.
No. There were 4 worlds and then 4 levels per world, and only half of those were gimmicks based.
So
Maybe
half
at the
game?
most.
Yes, half the game.
Yeah, but they were all
You just
different
said what
gimmicks.
Brown said.
Yeah, but it's not like they were the same gimmick. Like some of them you had to fly.
Apple math,
some
bitches.
Of them, it's like some of them you had to fly. Some of them you had to, bounce around. They were completely different gimmicks. So yes, half of the game was dedicated towards certain aspects of it, but they weren't all like one aspect.
There were different gimmicks, but I did not find the gimmicks as fun as the non-standard platforming parts.
Yeah.
But I love the game. Don't get me wrong. I love that game. I thought it was super fun. But I didn't love the gimmicks that they had.
Yeah, I mean, I'd go so far as to say this was probably the best game that came with a console since Super Nintendo.
What about Wii Sports?
Yeah.
Wii Sports, no. And this is why Wii Sports, no. Because the only thing worth playing on Wii Sports was bowling.
No.
What about Breath
Everything
of the
else
Wild?
is
kind of eh.
No, tennis was fine.
Golf, tennis.
Golf and
those-
boxing was fun.
And
Breath-
when
Breath
I
of-
played Wii Sports by myself, let me think. Oh no, wait, I didn't play Wii Sports by myself. I only played it with people.
What about
So,
Breath of the Wild?
It didn't come with the system.
That didn't come with the system.
Oh, I thought you were saying like
People
launch
are the
titles.
worst. They ruined
My
it
bad.
for you.
Yeah, the Wii Sports only works with people. You can't do it by yourself.
What came with Super Nintendo?
Super Mario World.
Oh, that's right.
Wait, if you got a
Sweet
Super
stuff.
Nintendo at launch, did it come with Super Mario World, or was it just the bundle that came out after launch?
I think it did come with it.
At launch?
I believe it did.
Mine
yeah.
came with it.
Yeah, it was a launch title.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't get it at launch. That's why I was curious.
Yeah, I think because I believe like the box for Super Mario World's actually kind of hard to come by because it was not sold separately. That
Oh, okay, yeah,
Ah,
makes sense.
Outside of that, I also played probably the greatest launch title in gaming history, Spider-Man Miles Morales. Also got the platinum for that. No big deal. You know, just the whole month of platinums. I'm not
Real
saying that
man
I'm the best,
platinum.
but it's pretty obvious. And yeah, Spider-Man Miles Morales was fucking awesome. If you've played the Spider-Man for PlayStation 4, it's similar gameplay with different abilities. So I mean, you know what you're getting into. I don't want to spoil the story by getting into it, but it was a good story, good characters. The DLC for Spider-Man set this one up, and I really enjoyed it. It was very, very good.
So I should play the Spider-Man DLC before I play Miles Morales?
You don't have to, but it's in your best
Yeah, you
interest to.
should. Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
continuation.
Outside of that, I mean, I played Control, but we talked about that on our deep dive. But that's it. Other than just getting platinums all month long, that's about it.
All right, Melbro, what you got for January?
I didn't play any RPGs, man. RPGs kind of suck.
I think the choices you made weren't very good, though.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just they're too big of a time commitment for me. You play 80 hours sitting there like pressing the same button over and over, the same shitty sword swipe move. It's too repetitive.
Damn.
You do the same shit over and over and over. So I don't know. I think what this taught me is that I'm not really an RPG guy. I think that's what I learned out of this whole situation. But I did try this one game called Saturday Morning RPG. It's kind of like it was a cheap game. I think I got it for like $2 off the Nintendo Switch eShop. So I tried it out. People said it's kind of like a nostalgia type of game where you go and you eat cereal and Saturday morning cartoons and you jump inside and fight guys and shit. But yeah, it was kind of shitty. It was really repetitive, man.
That's too bad
yeah, I just
because
couldn't get into
it looked cool when you said you were gonna play it. I was interested in it.
Yeah,
I
I was.
like it. I don't think it's just me. I don't know. You guys don't mind repetition. You might not be think the same way that I am.
I heard it was not great, but the concept seemed cool. Like did it actually reference real Saturday morning cartoons?
Yeah. Well, no, not real Saturday morning cartoons, but just like tons of 90s stuff. Just like, listening to 90s music and just like shit you did in the 90s, like watching cartoons and going to the arcade, eating pizza, just like stuff like that. Just
Oh, I
like
thought
a
it
90s
had like
vibe to
G.I.
it.
Joe and stuff. No, it didn't have real
I made
references?
it about an hour into the game and I just couldn't play anymore, man. So maybe it did. I don't know.
That sounds like a good time to me.
So yeah, I didn't play any RPGs. I did play Dragon Quest XI a little bit. That was kind of fun, but I just got so consumed with other games that I need to jump back into that and see if that can ignite my RPG love.
You
Plus
got
recommend it.
cock blocked by Control from your RPG heaven, man. Dragon Quest 11, where it at? Control, piece of shit.
Man, Control's great. Great game.
Bitch, you
Control
go read
was
them
good.
documents.
There were a lot of documents. They were all interesting.
Outside of that, we just talked about it. I played Control, shit game. We already talked about that. Yoshi's Crafted World. So Brian let me borrow his copy of Yoshi's Crafted World. I've been playing it on and off with my kids for probably almost a year now. So we finally beat it this month. Played the game from start to finish with my daughter. It was a lot of fun, man. I think it was really easy and a good game for a 5-year-old. So she really enjoyed it, and I think that made me enjoy it a lot. So we're a Yoshi family now, man. She has like a little plush Yoshi she sleeps with every night. That's pretty cool, man. Thanks, Brian.
Cool, man.
Yeah. If you ever get a chance to play Yoshi's Woolly World, that I thought was much better than Crafted World.
That was the Wii U, right?
GameCube,
That was on
or
Wii U, and then it got ported to the 3DS.
Wait, Nintendo
Okay.
ported a game? That seems weird.
What? Nintendo.
But that
ports?
one's good. That one's really good.
okay.
Great
Brian.
soundtrack on that.
Brian, let Melvin borrow your Wii U so that he can play it with his kids.
If you want to, man, let me know.
No, we're gonna play the Mario 3D World, whatever it's called, Bowser's Fury, when that comes
You'll
out.
like that. You'll like that.
What else did I play? So I've played all 3 of the Spider-Man DLCs, man. Jumping back into that game, man, it's so amazing, dude. I know we're gonna talk about that in our deep dive, but this might be my favorite open world game of all time, man.
Yeah.
It really, even more than Breath of the Wild, man. This game was amazing, man.
Man, Brian's
play
missing
it.
out.
Yeah.
Damn, I gotta check that out too.
Brian's gonna shit on it so bad when he plays this game. We hyped it up so much.
I mean, if you're saying it's better than
can't wait
Breath
to
of
hear
the
his thoughts.
Wild, yeah, it's not living up to that. I can guarantee you it's not living up to that.
I also played this game called Sayonara Wild Hearts. So this was another game on Apple Arcade. This is a rhythm game, so I know I shit on rhythm games, but this is actually kind of cool. It's I feel like it's kind of like a music soundtrack, but like you kind of play it almost. So you run around as this chick, and the game is actually narrated by Queen Latifah. Her game is probably like 90 minutes long. And you just do rhythm shit. It's a Brian game. He would love it if he played it.
Yeah, I gotta check it out. I've heard of it. I didn't know it was a rhythm game, and I didn't know it was short, which I like short games.
Yeah. It's about a 90-minute game, so it's pretty cool, man. Check that out. The music is really good. You'll enjoy that. Like you, even after playing the game, like going back and listening to the soundtrack is pretty dope.
So you played it on your phone?
I played it on my wife's iPad. Yeah.
So
But yeah, I mean,
how does that play?
you just hit the screen to the beat.
Brian's
I
never played
thought-
a rhythm game. so he
Yeah,
doesn't
Brian's
know.
not familiar with touchscreen.
Well, I thought it was on Switch. That's why I was surprised that it was also on like the phone or the iPad. So like the input or whatever must be pretty simplistic to play it on a phone.
Yeah,
Well,
I
yeah,
mean,
that's
like
Switch in a nutshell.
the Switch might actually have touchscreen controls too, so I don't know. But yeah, it's not complex. It's not like you have to press like a million buttons, like 3 different buttons. On the iPad, you just type different, either like the top of the screen, the bottom of the screen, or the right of the screen.
Yeah.
I'm guessing Switch is like the entire game is just like 3 buttons. You just happen to the beat, and you run around with this girl doing cool shit and listening to cool music.
I might have to
Check that out. I also played My Friend Pedro by it's an indie game by a company called Devolver Digital, which they make a lot of games like Fall Guys, everybody knows about. But My Friend Pedro is this guy, man. It's like kind of feels like it looks like a PlayStation 1 type game, like the graphic art style of it, and it's pretty dope, man. It's like this guy running around with 2 guns and this talking banana, and he like does all this cool shit.
He's
like
a banana,
flips and
right?
shit. Yeah, no, he has like a pet banana almost. And It's pretty crazy though. Like it's a deep story. Like it's like in this society where like old people they don't respect old people, so they make old people like join the mafia because old people can't get work anymore. And this guy like you're running around as this like shooting up all these old people and trying to take them out because they're all part of the mafia now. The story is pretty cool, man. It was I enjoyed this game a lot. Action packed from start to finish, and the ending is pretty cool too.
Is that an overhead shooter or what perspective is that?
It's a side-scrolling shooter. Yeah, Moose, you have anything to add? I know you recommended this game. That's what made me play it.
Yeah, it's just a fun game. It's kind of in the same vein as like it's more arcadey than like Limbo and Inside, but it's like the same style. It feels kind of like those games, but it's just a lot more action and kind of more rated R than those.
This is shout out to Spiral. It's indie game, I think, right?
Yeah, it's an indie
game. Yeah.
Then I also played Slay the Spire, best card game of all time. Looking forward to you guys playing this. Moose got me back into this, man, because Moose was hyping me up. So this was probably one of my favorite games of 2019 or whenever it came out. So I jumped back into that. I had a blast. Been playing that, a lot. But yeah, obviously you guys know because I was talking to you guys in the group chat. But there's this special boss at the end of Slay the Spire, right? So you have to beat the game with all 3 characters and then play it on the 4th run and collect all of these 3 collectibles on your run to get to this hidden boss. And so when I was playing the game, I finally made it to the hidden boss, man. I've been playing this game, on and off for a year. Finally made it to the hidden boss. And I'm whooping his ass. Whooping his ass. And I got to the point where I had one more hit to kill him. So I said, oh, shit. So I'm going to record this and show Moose. And then once I hit the button to kill him, my fucking game crashed. I was pissed, dude.
Put that video on the Facebook page.
Yeah, I'll post that, man. Shit, that was heartbreaking, man. That crushed me, dude.
It sucks.
You should have kept that video going, man. I wanted to see more of you flipping out.
See Melvin Rose switch across the room.
Your gasp was priceless.
Dude. At that exact moment. That's the moment that you crash the game? Crazy. Yeah, Slay the Spire, man. Dope game. If you guys haven't played it, check it out. And then last one, I played Metal Slug, man. For some reason, this series missed me. I just never. This is my first time actually playing a Metal Slug game. So I have an arcade 1-up machine that I modded, so it has 1,000 games on it. So I just the other day had about a couple hours free. Just said, let me see what games are on here that I want to play. So I just decided to fire up Metal Slug. The game was amazing, man. I've been missing out.
It looks great. Yeah, it's a
it looks amazing. Yeah. I don't even know when this game came out. Was this on SNES or?
No, that was a Neo Geo, so it's old.
1998, I think it came out. Yeah.
98.
Yeah.
It looks amazing for being a 20-plus-year-old game. So enjoyed that a lot, man. I'm definitely gonna check out the other ones.
Did you play that with unlimited credits or something? Because when I've dabbled in the Metal Slug games, it seems like they're really freaking hard.
Yeah, it was hard. Yeah, I have unlimited credits, but yeah, it's hard as shit. I died maybe 60 times, so I can imagine if I was in an arcade machine, I would be broke, like an actual arcade playing it.
Yeah.
This shit is hard. It's like a money drain.
I've played a little bit of the series, but I want to say the games that I've played did not have unlimited credits, so it was like, how many times can I play the first level over and over again? So I didn't get that far.
I used to live across the street from this, I used to live across the street from the Metal Slug 2 arcade machine. I could get to the last level on 1 quarter. I used to play that game probably a few times a week. I probably spent $100 on it, over time. But...
That's some crazy shit.
But yeah, that was it for me for this month.
All right, cool. All right, Spiral. RPGs. What you got for January?
This month was made for me because I am an RPG guy. I heard what Melvin said about being repetitive. I almost flipped out. I was seeing red. I was getting angry. But I understand where you're coming from. But for me, RPGs, why I like them so much is because you really get immersed in the game. You know, I know you guys like short games due to time constraints or whatever, but I really like getting into a game and spending, if it's a good game, tens or hundreds of hours with that game, really getting immersed in the storyline, unlocking things, unlocking characters, crafting weapons, like all that shit, like I'm really into. So that's why I really love RPGs. So I played 2 RPGs this month and another game which we'll talk about. But the first game I played was Nier Automata on the Xbox One. I played it on my Xbox Series X through Game Pass. It was released or developed by Platinum Games. I think they're somewhat known for like releasing like the Bayonetta series of games, developing that game. I think they dabbled into Metal Gear and Star Fox and games like that. And it was released by Square Enix, which is my favorite game publisher of all time. And the Metacritic score on this game was 90, so I was excited. I was really excited to play it. And I think it lives up to expectations. It's a really, really interesting game. It's an action RPG, so it's not turn-based. There's a lot of action elements to it. And it's a hack and slash. You hit the X button to use your sword, and you hold the RB button, the right bumper, to use your pod, which fires a laser. So there's a lot of action elements in this game. So if you don't like just standard RPG combat, this has a huge action element. And what's cool about this game, it melds some different types of gameplay together. Like in the beginning of the game, the intro, it's actually a shooter. It's like an R-type side-scrolling shooter where you got enemies. You just hold down your RB button and you kill these enemies. And then the perspective changes, and it's an overhead shooter, twin-stick shooter. And then the perspective changes, and it's a first-person shooter. So it's interesting. So I've never played an RPG that has like those action elements, and then changes into a traditional RPG. The story itself is really, really out there. It's really fucked up. It takes place in the future with androids and machines, and there's a war between androids and machines, and you play an android called 2B. And there's humans involved in the story as well. The humans created the androids to fight the machines that were created by aliens that crashed down on Earth.
So, pretty basic story.
It's really it's got those sci-fi elements, but the way the story is just so fucked up. Like it's depressing and sad and melancholy and happy at times. The music goes along with that theme. It's really good music, but it's also sad and melancholy. And your main character is 2B. You have a side character called 9S, and you explore this world trying to kill these machines. But turns out these machines aren't the enemy. They're actually you work with the machines. Yeah, there's gonna be some spoilers in this. I'm not gonna give away the big spoiler. It's pretty heavy, this game, and you play the game as 2B, and then you get to the end of the game. I thought the game was over 20 hours in. I'm like, fuck, this game went by pretty quick. But then you unlock a second scenario where you play as the side character, 9S. You play that for like 20 hours, and then you beat the game. Like, fucking, I'm done with the game. Good game. And then it unlocks a third scenario where you play this other character you meet in the game. I forget the number of the character, but it's a different character. And then once you play all three stories, you get the full story behind the whole game. So it's really deep. It's got themes of religion and humanity and what it is to be alive. You got mass suicide in this game. I think Darkside would like that aspect of it. Mm-hmm. There's an issue with androids trying to be humans. It's really, really an interesting story that I've never played a game like that before. It is really interesting. Now, what's cool about this game is, as Darkside said about breaking the fourth wall, there's actually 26 endings to this game.
Oh shit!
Damn,
that's crazy, man.
I did do 100% of the achievements. I'll talk about that later. But I did not see all 26 endings. I just did 4, and I was done with it. And then the fourth ending, it's fucked up because the credits come down the screen and it becomes this overhead twin stick shooter where the credits, the people's names are shooting lasers at you. So you have to destroy the credits as they come down, the directors and the voice actors and things like that. And it's fucking hard. It is so hard. And I probably spent, the credits probably take maybe, 5 minutes. But I probably spent an hour just dying and going back to life and trying to finish it. And
was that just for an achievement?
This is just to finish the fourth ending.
Oh, so you've got to do that.
Oh, wow.
Right. And at some point, like you're getting like people, like there's some things coming down at you, like giving you like hope and saying that keep on fighting on. And you get like these shields and shit, which helps you a lot. So I got to that part. I finished the game with the shields. It was great. I finished the game, and it's like what happened is other players finished the game, and when you get to the game, you can decide to help other players get through that part where you're shooting the credits. But to do that, to help the other players, when you play it again, you delete all your save data. So you can make this choice to delete all your save data to help other players get through the end part of the game. Like
What'd you do?
I fucking didn't delete my save data. Hell no.
Selfish motherfucker.
Hell no. So I finished the game, and the achievements are interesting too. I did say I got completionist. I did get all the achievements, but this is the only game where I've seen where you can actually buy the achievements from a vendor.
Oh, really?
That'll be my type of platinum.
So there were some achievements that would take you about 25 hours to do. I was like, fuck that. I just bought it. But there are other achievements.
Like with real money, you're saying? Like
no, the money you earn through playing the game, like this killing monsters.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't mean to. Yeah.
I was like,
Spyro paid
EA's
$1,000.
EA's listening to this and loving Spyro.
It was not a Fortnite situation. It was the in-game gold that you earn by killing enemies and getting treasures and things like that. But yeah, there are some achievements where it only took a couple hours to do, which I did. But there are some that took a really long time, and I was like, I'm just gonna buy it from the vendor, man, because I'm not gonna play it for 25 hours. I get like 50 achievement points. So yeah, it was a really cool game. The soundtrack's amazing. Like it has vocals in the game, so your background music has vocals. And I was like, I can't even place this language. Like, what the fuck is it? This is Japanese? What's going on here? And it turns out that they actually invented a new language for the game, and the singer sang like this new language. So it's a very out there game, very fun, very interesting. I don't know if I could recommend it because it is really super out there, but I really enjoyed it, and it was outside the traditional RPG games I usually play.
What made you choose this one?
The Metacritic reviews, A, and the fact it was on Game Pass, B, and also it was Square Enix. So those are the three really reasons.
Number 3 is really all you need, yeah.
Yeah.
For those extra endings, do you have to beat the whole game again? Or like how do you get all those different endings?
So each run through is about 20 hours. So the how long to beat is 61 hours for the main plus extra, which is about how long it took for me. So I would say actually the first run through is maybe like 35 hours. The second run through with the other characters maybe 15, and the third run through is about maybe 5 or 10, and the fourth it's really quick. And then you can there's a point in the story where you can boot up a save and just make a different decision, and you can finish that ending. So,
okay. So there's like a fast route to get all those different endings if you want to. You're not like redoing 20 hours every time.
Right. It does give you a new game plus where it saves the chapters and you can start that chapter.
Got it.
Which was really, really helpful. But it was a cool game, really out there, really heavy themes, but I really enjoyed it. After playing that game, I was like, I need a bit of a palate cleanser. So I played Costume Quest.
Yeah.
Which is not Pussy Journey, whatever the fuck you played, Dark Side. But this was a Xbox 360 game, came out in 2010. I played it. It was a free Xbox Live Games with Gold download back last October. And this was actually a pretty fun game. I think Muffy played this too, right?
Yeah, Muff played it last year, and I played it a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it's actually a really cute game. It has the RPG elements with the leveling up, but very, very basic. It has a turn-based combat, again, very, very basic, but really cool. And it's even though it's very basic, it's still pretty deep. The costumes are neat. You go through the game. Basically, the story is your little kid. It's Halloween. Your sister gets kidnapped by a monster, and you got to go find her. And the way to progress is to unlock these costumes. Then you can dress up as the costumes, and when you fight enemies, each costume has its own combat style and limit breaks and things like that. The graphics are neat. Again, the dialogue is really snappy and fun. It was written very well. And it took about, 7 hours to finish, which I think is pretty accurate.
Damn, that's real quick.
Yeah, it's quick. It's really, really quick run. The controls are a bit fucked up because, it's been 11 years since it was actually released. So on the Xbox Series X, which I played it on, it was a little difficult to move in some points. But overall, it was a fun game. I think if you're an RPG newbie, it's a good way to jump in and not spend too much time on it. I think kids would definitely enjoy it for sure. It was a fun game. And then those are the two RPGs I played. I'm still playing RPG right now. We'll talk about next month, which is Fire Emblem on Nintendo Switch, which is really, really good. But the other game I finished was Ori and the Will of the Wisps on Xbox Series X. And I think Moose played this possibly.
I did, yeah.
How long did it take you to finish it? Do you recall?
I want to say like 10 to 15 hours. I don't know.
Okay. Because it's a Metroidvania game, very similar to like the mechanics of like Castlevania, Symphony of the Night, or Metroid. But man, it was a really good game. It was difficult in areas, but not overly impossibly difficult. Like you could play it enough where you could finish certain areas, but in some points it was frustrating. But I played an Xbox Series X. Really outstanding graphics. It's enhanced for the Xbox Series X, so it looks fantastic. The gameplay is a little weird, or the story is a little weird, a little out there. You play as Ori, and you lose your owl friend, and you go into this world to try to find him. And there's this backstory with the monsters and creatures that inhabit this world. Again, it's a little bit of a sad game, but it's fun. The game mechanics are pretty crazy as far as the platforming goes. I thought that was really interesting because it has the standard kind of Metroidvania stuff where you got a glide option or a super jump or a triple jump, or you could hang on to walls and things like that. But the newest one that I had never experienced before is where you can bounce off like lasers. So, and this is where it gets complicated. So you bounce, enemy fires a laser at you, you jump up, you hit the left bumper, and it freezes you. And then you gotta use your right thumbstick to point you in the right way. And then you got like a second to figure this out, and then it boosts you up. And then you gotta get to another laser. Then you had to hit the right bumper again to freeze it. Then you use your left stick to point, and then it jumps you up. So I am not the best at this type of game. So in some scenes, you have to jump off lasers, glide, jump off 3 lasers, put the timing in where the lasers come up so you can bounce off them. It was pretty intense in some areas, and there were some points where it's pretty frustrating. But you got unlimited tries to do this. But at some points, I was probably trying maybe 20 or 30 times, and you got to do things so precisely that if you fuck up at the beginning, you might as well just reset it because you know you're not going to do it. Really cool boss battles. The bosses weren't overly tough. You could figure out their patterns pretty easily. What was most challenging, though, are these chase scenarios, where this massive boss this massive boss is attacking you, and you got to run away from it. So you got to use all these platforming tricks, whether it's double, triple jumping, grabbing onto these lanterns and boosting off them, then floating down, and then boosting across a flat area. At some points, that gets really, really difficult. I probably didn't spend more than maybe 45 minutes trying to get through a certain scene, and it's fun enough that you want to do it over and over again. And then the very last boss is really interesting. Not too many spoilers, but you're basically in the air and you got to bounce off like these falling lasers. So you have to constantly bounce off them. Left button, right trigger, float, double jump, left button, then attack. It's a lot of shit to put your fingers through. But eventually I got it. And
Darkseid's used to putting his fingers through shit.
Through shit, yeah.
Laughing.
Mm-hmm.
Reminded me of a movie I saw recently.
Home video.
Home movies count.
That's another podcast.
But overall, it was a good game. I could definitely recommend it. I think Moose, really liked the game.
Yeah, it's good.
I think all you Metroidvania guys would really, really like it. I liked it. I probably won't play it again. I didn't platinum it. It was too difficult to do some of the stuff, but I really liked that game. And those were my games for the month.
Moose, what Spiral was talking about sounded kind of demanding. You played Ori and the Blind Forest not that long ago too. Is it more demanding than the first game, or is it on par with that?
Wait, Spiral, you played the second one then, the Will of the Wisps?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of similar. I mean, I remember not really thinking it was much different.
Yeah,
I played the first one. I want to say it was like a year and a half ago or something. It wasn't that long ago, but it was long enough where I kind of forgot the differences, I guess. But I mean, it's the same. Like, it's just the newer one has a little bit more abilities, I think. I don't remember if you had the laser bounce ability in the first one or not, but from what I remember, those enemies shooting the lasers, they kind of arced them a little bit, right?
Right.
Yeah, so it wasn't like a direct laser shot, like direct at you or anything. They were kind of lobbed in the air, and you had to like time your jump to, land at where the laser was, like at the highest point a lot of the times, so you could get the highest jump. But yeah, I mean, it was fun.
And it reminds me of one scene in the game where you have to direct the lasers. So you can, when you bounce off these lasers, you redirect the lasers. You can
yes.
You can do that to blow up certain walls and shit that you can get through.
Yeah.
At the very end of the game, near the end of the game, there's a point where you have to. It's fucked up, but it's incredible level design, where you have to bounce a laser through a warp, and then the laser goes through the warp. Then you got to go to that spot, bounce it again, and it goes through a different warp, and then you bounce off that laser to get to a certain area you need to get to. The level design is super incredible in this game. I've never played a game like that where it was so inventive as far as how the platform is working.
Moose, what you got for January?
All right, so for me in January, I only played one RPG. It's one I've been wanting to play for a while. Final Fantasy VII Remake. So I recently got the PS5, and that was one of the games that I just kind of couldn't wait to play on Xbox. I assume it's going to come out on Xbox in April or after April. But I don't really want to spoil the game because I know Spiral wants to play it, and I don't want to ruin it for Bash, who's still, I think, currently playing it. But the story, I won't get into it, but it's like really close to the old school story, but it's got a new twist. It's not like a direct, like enhanced game of the previous story. You know what I mean? So they changed the story quite a bit. The combat is changed quite a bit. And I mean, I know Bash has said it before, but the whole first game, so it's going to be potentially 3 parts, but the whole first game you're just in Midgar, which is like the early part of Final Fantasy VII, which is like probably a couple hours tops, and this is like a full like 40-hour game just in that main city. I liked it a lot. I wanted to play it again, but then I saw some articles online saying that there might be like a PS5 enhanced version coming out, and if it's a free upgrade, I want to play it after it's upgraded. If it's pay to upgrade, then I guess I got to see how much it costs before I decide. But I wanted to jump back in and play it again because I really liked it. As far as other games that I played, I have a handful of other games as well. I did all the Spider-Man DLC from Spider-Man Remastered, which I think we'll get into that later on in a deep dive. But I also played Katana Zero, which Melvin recommended repeatedly until I finally played it on Game Pass. I played Control. We talked about that in our deep dive. I also actually finally beat Astro's Playroom. I thought I beat it before. Darkseid made some snarky comment in the text thread, and I had no idea what he was talking about. And then he kept on asking me how many worlds did I beat, and I'm like, I beat all 4 or 5. I don't know. Like, it didn't really give me any direction. It just sort of said, like, go wherever you want, and I didn't realize there was a whole, like, actual ending boss and everything in that game. I had no idea. So I wouldn't finish that.
Some people beat games, some people don't, you know?
I really thought I beat it. I mean, I did everything. I must have turned off the game and not done one of the levels in one of the quadrants, I guess. But, yeah, I mean, it was a pretty good game. We talked about it already. I didn't like it back then. I like it more now that I actually finished it. Slay the Spire is another game I've been playing, and I beat that recently. We're going to get into that in a deep dive, and that's another Melvin recommendation. It's a great game.
Going back to Katana Zero, is that like The Messenger, or
no? It's more like, what game would you say it's like, Melvin? Because it's kind of like it's almost like you play a level, and then let's say you die, like you rewind to the beginning of that level, and the levels are basically just one big like room, and it might be multiple like actual like staircase levels or whatever, but it's pretty much one screen, one room. You know what I mean?
It's hard to. I mean, it's so one kill you die. So kind of like a Hotline Miami, but not like the top down view. It's like a side scrolling view, and you have to like get through each level without like taking one hit. And you're like this badass chick with this blade. This like
you can like stop time or slow time and deflect bullets and stuff like that. So it's not like one-sided where like you got to hide in a corner until like they're not looking at you. You can go right at them if they're shooting. You just deflect the bullet right back at them, and you can like roll through them and stuff. It's pretty cool. Like it's a really short game, and it was relatively easy. I mean, some of the levels were kind of hard, but like it's the pick up and play. It was really quick. I think I turned off like the rewind animation or something because it got old after a while because it would like shake your screen and stuff. But it was fun. I had fun. It's on Game Pass.
You think I'd enjoy it?
I think you'd like it.
Yeah, you would love this game, Brian.
I think you'd like it. I mean, I don't know how. I can't put a price point to it because I got it through Game Pass. But I would say like if it's $5, I think you wouldn't feel bad paying that.
Yeah.
What would Brian like more, Katana Zero or Nier Automata?
Probably Katana Zero because he'd never play Nier Automata.
Yeah, Brian can't handle complicated
he would
plots.
Bought it? That's good enough, right? I bought Nier Automata.
If he played Nier Automata and actually like sat down and played it, I think he'd like that better, I want to say. But it's a long game, and I don't see Brian sitting down playing that now.
I get scared.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brian needs simple things, like Seinfeld or Lost.
Lost, which is like 200 hours for the whole series.
No, it's a good game though, and I think you'd like it. I never actually finished Katana Zero. Spiral got me there, so I have to finish that game.
You mean Nier Automata?
I mean Nier Automata. Sorry, yeah, that's correct. But it's I mean Katana Zero is a good game. I think you'd like it.
A lot of games. Yeah, I got Final Fantasy VII too on the backlog, but man, I don't know.
Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I said this in the text thread. So if you're a Final Fantasy fan, especially Final Fantasy VII, you're gonna like the remake. If you like the idea of Final Fantasy, you might like it. If you don't know who Sephiroth is, then there's no chance
all the plot changes they made were like for the best. I think. I don't think any of the changes like made the game worse. Like
the combat is like really good now, so it's like back in like when you're playing a typical like Final Fantasy like turn-based, like old school style RPG, you're waiting for your turn before you can do stuff. But in this game, it's the same idea where you're still waiting for your turn, but you're like doing like your basic attacks the whole time while you're building up your special abilities. And I mean, it could be like using magic or whatever. Like you have to wait for those. You can attack like instantly, like hack and slash style, while you're waiting for your actual abilities. So it's still turn-based to some degree. It's like action turn-based. It's I haven't seen a lot of games do it well, and I feel like this one was done really well.
So like I really want to play it. I mean, I love the idea of Final Fantasy. I like the characters in Final Fantasy VII. I like the music, but I never played all the way through Final Fantasy VII. So part of me thinks that I'm gonna miss on a lot of the things in this remake.
From the first part of the remake, I don't think so. And there's like some, I don't know how much I can get into spoilers because I don't really want to spoil it for some of these guys. But the story's not a 1-to-1 from Final Fantasy VII.
Got it.
It's based on Final Fantasy VII, the old school story. I think it might end up playing out the same way maybe, but it's not exactly 1-to-1. So you're not really going to miss anything. And most people played that game like 20 plus years ago or whatever now, or 20, right? About 15, 20 years ago. When did it come out?
97,
I mean,
think.
It's long enough where if you didn't play it recently, you might have forgotten most of the crap anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Fucking nostalgia, right, Spyro?
Wait, what?
I know I said fuck nostalgia, right?
No, it's a cool game. I mean, I really liked it, and it's really weird because it's not open world like pretty much at all. It's very linear. Like there's some areas where you might have like branching like paths to take, but like it's all like you're all encased in one area. It's all in a town basically.
Yeah.
And it's a fully fleshed out town. There's a bunch of buildings and people and stuff, and there's like side quests. I mean, it's a pretty thorough game, but it's not like a typical Final Fantasy where you like can go all over the world. You're stuck in it in one city pretty much the whole game.
Yeah, which doesn't surprise me because some of the struggles I think they had with remaking that is they said that it would, because Final Fantasy VII was so huge. Yeah, the scale would make it just impossible, which is probably why this only covers the first like third of Final Fantasy VII, right?
I feel like it's honestly less than that, but it's basically what it's going to be. It's going to be the first third. But like as far as the first game or the original game, like that, this portion of the game was a lot shorter.
Yeah, got it.
But it's I don't know. I recommend it, especially if you're not big into RPGs. I think this is a good like branching game.
Did you platinum it?
I did not, because one of the platinum things is to beat it on hard mode, which is after you beat the game, you unlock like mission select basically. So that's another thing that's weird. Like to replay the levels, you play them like in any order you want because you got like a mission select screen. But if you like join a mission, there's like I don't know how many chapters. Let's say there's 18 chapters. I don't know off the top of my head, but you can just go to like chapter 17 if you wanted to, and then if you don't finish it and you leave it, then you lose all your progress for that chapter, like on your new chapter, like on your new game plus type playthrough. So you have to like beat that chapter fully before you can like jump into a different chapter, but you don't have to play them in chronological order. It's just weird the way they did it. It's a little bit annoying to be honest, but I think that's part of it is because it's not open world.
Yeah.
If it was open world, you could probably just go like to any section or whatever. So that was a little weird, but I didn't want to replay it before, and then, like I didn't want to replay it on hard, and then find out that they're going to do like a next gen upgrade, and then I'd want to play it again, because like it still looks good. It's PS4 game, so it's not like it's really old. But yeah, I'd like to see it with a next gen upgrade. I think it'd look really awesome.
All right, you got anything else for January moves?
I don't think so. I believe I listed everything.
All right. Bash, what'd you play in January?
The only thing I beat this month was Paper Mario: The 1,000-Year Door.
Nice.
I've had it ever since it came out. I think I've failed to finish it I think 3 times now. I finally just sat down and beat it. It's not very long.
Is that a GameCube game or is that a Wii game?
It's GameCube.
Okay.
You want to pick up a copy for yourself? It probably cost you around $70.
Yeah, it's not cheap.
I think I'd have to buy it
anymore.
I'd have to buy a GameCube again.
I still have it sealed.
Ooh,
well, that shit cost
gold.
That is worth. Yeah, that's worth like $1,300 on eBay. So don't open that fucking game. Yeah.
Oh shit, Dark Side, man.
I don't know about that.
I'll buy it off you for $900.
Deal.
I'll come over and open it.
Damn, Muff, man. Always got to rain up that parade.
But yeah, it's a pretty basic, just turn-based RPG. You play as Mario. Like, Mario's your main character, then you get a side character that fights with you. And most of them are enemies from the older games. There's a Goomba, and there's another Koopa you can team up with, and there's ghosts and stuff. They all have their own quirks. One of them ignores defense when they attack, and another one hits 6 times, but they're all weak hits. It's really basic stuff. Probably a game probably more people played nowadays that plays like that is South Park Stick of Truth. They pretty much ripped that whole game off of Paper Mario, which isn't really a bad thing.
Yeah, I like that game.
Yeah. I think the first Paper Mario is probably easier to get nowadays. And I would recommend playing that one first. That one's probably better than the second one, but the second one's still good.
The first one I know was on the Wii Virtual Console, which has been shut down. Yeah. It might be on the Wii U for all I know. But yeah, the GameCube one, I don't think that's been put anywhere else, which is why it's so costly to get.
Yeah, I think the first one costs about $60 if you want a cartridge. But
yeah.
Overall, I like it. It's pretty easy for an RPG. It's made basically any kid could probably beat it. Each level kind of has a gimmick. One world is it's a fighting tournament. Another one's where you got to solve a mystery or something. I think probably the biggest problem with this game is some of the gimmick levels kind of drag on a little bit too long. Right when you're getting sick of them, usually right after that it'll move on. It's kind of not quite great pacing, but it's not that bad either. So plus it's easy, so you don't really got to replay things too much. But
yeah, I played through this back when it came out. I remember it being pretty long. I don't play a ton of RPGs, but I remember I hit the 30-hour mark, and I was like, "Damn, when is this game gonna end?" Which is usually what happens.
A great game, you know.
It was fun, but that's usually what happens. Unless a game's amazing, once I hit 30 hours, I'm like, all right, I'm ready for this to be done. And it took me about 40 hours, I think, to play through it.
Well, this time I beat it in 25, but like I said, I played it twice before already, most of the way through, so I blazed through the early parts of it.
There's a Bob-omb boat captain or something, right? That's the only thing I remember.
Bob-omb.
If you want to play this, I would actually just recommend playing the first one, see if you like that one, and then play the second one. But they're both pretty good, I guess.
Before you buy for $600, $800.
Yeah.
I heard the Switch one was just okay. Any of you guys pick that one up?
The Origami King?
Yeah.
I didn't
play that one. Yeah, they get rid of experience and stuff.
You didn't even pick it up, Brian?
No, I didn't. There was Color Splash on the Wii U. I've kind of fallen off the Paper Mario series. There was Sticker Star for the 3DS was the first one that I didn't play through, and then I just never. I kind of dropped off the series after that.
Yeah.
Sticker Star.
Yeah, Paper Mario Sticker Star, I believe, was the 3DS game, which that's what they got rid of. What did you say they got rid of, Wally? They got rid of experience or something like that, actual leveling up.
In the Switch one, I guess. I don't know how that works.
It must be too complicated for Nintendo fans, you know.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, I think Sticker Star was where they got rid of that, and people complained about that because it kind of defeats the purpose of combat, which is like what most RPGs kind of hinge on, is that fighting enemies gets you something, but they took that away.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point, because like Final Fantasy VII Remake didn't have random combat, like you saw the enemies before you got into combat. So was it like the old Mario game? Oh, the Paper Marios did have that too, right? They had the enemies on screen that you'd see, then
then you run into them, then it goes into like the turn-based fight.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And you can like jump on them, like when you see them, then you'll get like an early attack, or if they hit you, they get the first attack, stuff like that.
Yeah, like the random combat scene in general, I think, has kind of died out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I'm not complaining. I like that.
No, that was the most annoying part about RPGs. Whenever you're trying to do something and you random combat over and over again.
Yeah.
I did just sell my original copy of Paper Mario on eBay.
$2,000 or how much?
No, it wasn't the GameCube version. It was the N64 version, I think.
Yeah.
And it was complete with box instructions. I got $260 for it.
Nice.
That was a nice looking box too.
Yeah, it was in good condition.
That's not bad. Yeah, that's not bad.
And I threw away all of my boxes like 10 years ago. They were just sitting all over the place.
Dang.
Yeah.
Nice looking box.
Spiral's got a nice looking box, what can I say?
And he sold it for less than $300. That's a good guy right there.
Speaking of Pussy Journey.
All right, Bash, you got any other comments
pussy,
about
son?
Yeah, that's all I beat this month. I played some other stuff. I'll probably get into them next month after I actually beat them. So.
All right, cool. I only played one RPG. I have not finished it yet. I'm knocking on the door of the boss, the final boss. But this was Mother 3. So Mother 3, the franchise has kind of had a strange path. So the first one that came out in America was Earthbound for the Super Nintendo, and it was really Mother 2, but they renamed it Earthbound because Mother 1 never came out here. That was only on the Japanese Nintendo. So Mother 1 eventually did come out on the Wii U Virtual Console, and then Earthbound also came out on Wii U Virtual Console, but Mother 3 has never come out in America. So I was playing this on a bootleg Game Boy Advance game that I bought, and it's got a translation patch into it, so you don't have to know Japanese or anything like that. But it's been really fun so far. I mean, the series is known for like having a quirky sense of humor, and Earthbound had like an Americanized setting, which is not common for RPGs. They're mostly like, fantasy or like modern sci-fi, where this was just like a typical 90s, American setting. So Mother 3 is kind of like that, not quite as much. But yeah, I've really been enjoying it. I mean, it carries over that quirky sense of humor from Earthbound. Like sometimes you open up a treasure chest, and instead of an item being inside of it, it'll just be like jazz music will start playing, and then it'll be like, oh, you heard a funky jazz beat, and then it just gives you nothing. It's kind of annoying, like when you're like
funky jazz beat.
Yeah. Or like one scene, like you're fighting these ghost enemies throughout the level, but then you open a door and there's like all the ghost enemies are having like this big party, and then it's like, oh yeah, we decided to take a break and we're just having like a dinner party, and you just talk to them and like there's really nothing that happens, but it's funny. So yeah, this one does not have random battles either. The enemies all appear on the screen, which I don't know if I could take a game with random battles anymore. You touch an enemy from behind, then you get like a jump start, like Bash, you were saying with Paper Mario, you jump on them. So it's similar with that. The battle system is kind of unique in that it's got kind of like a rolling damage meter. So if you take damage from an enemy and it's completely turn-based, but if you take damage from an enemy, let's say you have 200 health and they hit you for more than 200, you don't die right away. Like your health slowly starts to roll down, so you have a chance to heal yourself and then reverse like the momentum of your health draining down. Or if you're like almost done with a fight, you can just choose to not heal and just continually try and pummel the enemy so you can finally like beat him without dying. So it's interesting. I mean, otherwise it's a pretty standard turn-based style with like attack and like magic abilities and things like that. In Mother 3, they did add, which I don't think was in Earthbound, where there's like a rhythm element to it, where there's background music playing. And then if you tap the attack button, you can do extra damage up to like 16 times. So it adds another layer of like not just mashing the attack button over and over, but you're paying attention and trying to like time attacks and things like that.
You don't really have to do that part. It doesn't add that much like damage, but you might as well. It's kind of fun to actually get it to work.
Oh, did you play this game, Wally?
I played like the first half of it and then quit for some reason. But
yeah, they even tell you like you don't have to do this because yeah, you're right. Every like attack that you follow up is like half damage. So like on your like 10th attack, you might only be doing 1 damage at a time. But it was fun. I mean, it keeps you more engaged. Like even if you're just like grinding for levels, just to like keep trying to do that like rhythmic attack. The game is interesting because it's an ensemble cast where like it's broken up into chapters, and the first chapter you play as a character. So the main character of the game is Lucas, and I knew that because Lucas was in Super Smash Brothers and is one of the only Super Smash Brothers characters that the games never came out in America. But you start off the game, you don't play as Lucas for like the first like half of the game, and I kept thinking like, when am I going to finally play as the main character? And that's really when the game opens up. You get like halfway through, and that's when you get more abilities such as like gaining currency and the ability to like store items, because otherwise your character can only hold a certain amount of items, and then after that you can't hold any more items. You're just dropping things. So in the beginning it's kind of like there's no item management really other than just dropping stuff, but halfway through the game it really starts to open up. It's not too difficult. There's these hot springs all over the place that let you like regain all your health and all your magic. So that lets you really like grind levels pretty easily if you want to at certain points of the game. Kind of going with what Spiral said with like Nier Automata. I mean, the game is very colorful. So it's all sprite based. I mean, it was on Game Boy Advance. It's very cartoony, colorful, but it mixes in some pretty serious themes. Like there's themes of death. There's themes of like what harm like modernization of society does to an individual. Like, I mean, it's a pretty interesting game in that it melds these like what looks like a Super Nintendo game with like very kind of, I guess, sophisticated themes. So I've been really enjoying it. I don't want to go too much into the plot just because at some point Nintendo's got to bring this game out, I would think. I don't know when. This group of fans translated this game, which I researched. Estimated cost for them was like $30,000. So I mean, it was not an easy task. I mean, there's a ton of dialogue. They've done a great job. I mean, it's funny. I mean, there's a lot of times like I laugh out loud, which I'm sure translating a Japanese language game and making the puns and the jokes make sense in English is not easy to do. But I've been having a lot of fun with it. So I'm probably going to finish that up tomorrow because I know you assholes, if I beat it, February 1st at 12:01, you're going to say, doesn't count for RPG month. So I got to finish it. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. And like, I love the Game Boy Advance. The Game Boy Advance is really like the last sprite-based system. So it came out after Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis and all that. So it's like,
what does that mean?
So like Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis, all the games are sprite-based. And then when you hit PlayStation,
I don't know what that means. What the fuck does sprite base mean?
Like sprite is like
it's the
like
lemon lime beverage.
No, not the beverage. Like a sprite, like the 2D, like pixel graphics, not using polygons, not in 3D, and like the Game Boy Advance was like the last system that really had that as like its main driver for the games. There are very few 3D.
Give me an
games.
example. Give me an example. Sprite base.
Like Mario 1, like Mario on Nintendo and Super Nintendo. Yeah, like Mario on Nintendo and Super Nintendo, it's all pixel based. Mario 64 is all 3D, like it's all polygons.
Tecmo Bowl is Pixel based.
Yeah, Tecmo Bowl. There you go. So that's pixel based.
You gotta use it in muff vernacular.
Muff on it.
Gotta go back to Tecmo Bowl.
So yeah,
Darkseid, I appreciate you. Thank you for helping.
No problem.
So that's why the Game Boy Advance to me is just a really cool system. And like to me, it's the last cartridge. I know Switch is technically on cartridges, but they don't really feel like cartridges. They're like little chips.
And they don't taste like cartridges, right?
They don't taste like chips either.
Yeah.
You taste nasty. Have you ever tasted one?
Yeah, I licked the Switch cartridge.
You guys are eating these things? What the fuck?
Why do you guys lick Switch cartridges?
Because they didn't they make them taste bad, like on purpose, so kids wouldn't eat them or something?
Yeah.
Like
You can't choke on them or whatever.
For you
It was
guys
something
to
weird like
lick
that.
'em.
Yeah.
Yeah, Melvin,
Like a
grab a
press
Switch
release,
game.
like we're making them taste bad. Don't eat them, and then you guys try it.
Melvin, grab a Switch game and lick it, man. It's the same shit.
All right, man.
Intellectual curiosity, man. What are you gonna do?
You can lick Yoshi. I already licked that one, so give it a shot.
Do you lick all your games?
No, I don't lick them all.
He looks at each one.
Just the ones he likes.
One
He
at a
opens it
time.
up, licks it, and slides it into the PlayStation.
I think I'd lick Smash
I don't mind the
Brothers. I think
licking
that's one
game.
Oh man.
So Mother 3, I'm really enjoying it. I don't play a lot of RPGs. I play like one RPG every other year or something like that. But I'm glad we had RPG month. It finally drove me to play this game. And another weird thing too, this came out in 2006, which the Game Boy Advance was like dead at that point. I mean, Nintendo DS came out in 2004. So this was like a really old Game Boy Advance game. So it doesn't surprise me that it didn't come out in America, but it's just a very unique game to come out in 2006. So that's why, I love
weird.
nostalgia. I love sprite-based shit. So I'm enjoying it.
How long is the game, Brian?
I believe How Long to Beat has 25 hours for main story. I am at about 29 right now. So I don't really know what like completionist would be, because I've done a few side quests and I've gone out of my way to get like all the chests or like the gift boxes that I can. But yeah, I mean, it takes a little, and I'm sure I've put in even more time, because there's sometimes I'll play for like half an hour and die. And then I'm like, all right, I'm just going to reload my save because I don't want to lose out on the items that I used during the boss fight or shit like that. So, yeah, it's funny. I mean, if you're in the mood for a lighthearted RPG, like even though it has those serious themes, like, I mean, the monsters you're fighting they're all like animals fused together. So there's like a cattle snake, which is like a cow, like mixed with a snake. Or there's like a gorilla that has like, I don't know, like a kangaroo pouch or some weird shit. And there's like plot reasons for why all these animals are being like molded together and things. But it's cool. I mean, you don't really have an easy way to play it, unfortunately. I mean, you've got to pirate it. But I mean, if Nintendo ever brings it out, like I'll throw money at it. I'll buy it legit. But they didn't give me much of a choice right now.
Classic Nintendo, disappointing everyone all the time.
Speaking of disappointments, Emil, what do you got for us for the month of January?
Wow.
That was a perfect segue.
Yeah.
That's some bullshit.
That is some bullshit, man.
Savage.
Anyway, beat a dog, he'll start acting like a dog. You know what I mean? Anyway.
I don't know what that means. What's that supposed to mean?
I have no idea. Anyway,
Life philosophy by Emil.
RPG that I beat was Golf Story. That was the only one I beat this month, and it was pretty good. Story was pretty simple. It was more like just like a chill kind of fun game, a little over like 20 hours. What was cool about the game is you start off as like just an amateur, and then your dad was like big into golf, and he passes away, and it's like 20 years later, and you're trying to make the pro tour, and once you do, you just keep getting ripped on, kind of like me in this group, But you you still like try to succeed, and even though you do succeed, they find a reason why you won, or they just cut you off, and it's like it's pretty funny. But the last championship like match was, I mean, you really did feel like you were playing golf. Like putting was like very critical. I don't know who plays golf in our group, but I do. And it's like when you get to that last
I've been
putt.
golfing with you.
Yeah, Golf does.
Calm down, Jesus.
I've been golfing with you.
But it's been a while. It's been like a while.
Before we start the podcast, you start talking about my dick, and now you don't even remember that we were golfing with you?
Oh my god.
Oh shit.
That
To be fair,
one. I don't
to be
remember
fair,
seeing
we're always
that.
talking about Muff's dick before the podcast.
Sure, thank you, Archive. Thank you. Anyway, so like that, it came down to a last putt for me, and I had to make it, and it was about, I'd say about 15 to 20 feet, and I literally paused the game, got up, walked around, let my nerves kind of settle, went back to the game, took my time, like measuring the angles, all that stuff, and I hit the putt, and I was like celebrating like it was like a real match. It was awesome. Like it was a really good game. I'd recommend it if you like golf and you like RPGs. So it's kind of like a combo. You level up and things like that as you keep going through the game.
That's a
Get
Switch
up,
game, right?
walk away. That's a good
Yes.
strategy.
It's an indie game, indie Switch game, yeah. So
Does it use the motion controls for golfing, or is it like
it-
Hot Shots golf?
it's like Hot Shots golf type thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love hot shot.
But yeah,
Are you gonna get the sequel, Sports Story?
if there maybe, I'm not sure to be honest on that one.
Yeah, there's a sequel where you like play all types of different sports,
That's-
like
yeah, I
basketball,
don't-
football.
Yeah, I don't think it's like generalized to just golf in that one. So I'd have to
Alright.
reviews and kind of see how that goes. But yeah, that was cool. I do want to get What the Golf. I do want to get that. I have not picked that up yet, but so otherwise I've been dumping all my hours into Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, which is freaking awesome. I'm on chapter 10. I think there's 18 chapters. The game, like, I went into it thinking like, okay, I want to play an RPG, thinking I'd just be like, okay, I'll get through this, but I'm like really enjoying it. Like it's probably gonna be like one of my favorite of all time. Just
Nice.
pretty good.
Wow, of all
Play is
time.
good. Yeah, the battle system is awesome. It's not turn-based. It's more like kind of like you select each kind of move you want to do, and it kind of takes time for it to regenerate. But it's not turn-based. You can keep attacking different weapons, keep moving. So it's pretty cool. It's like real time with cooldowns and things like that. So it's pretty
Hey,
awesome.
Emil.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't the Xenoblade game the Switch port?
It is another Switch port. They enhanced the graphics with Definitive Edition because I think Brian, right? It originally came out on the Wii U.
Came out on the Wii. Came
What?
out on the tail end of the
Okay.
Wii, the
On the
original
Wii.
Wii.
But yeah,
So it doesn't count as a port, as a Wii U port.
Not as a Wii U port, but it's a port.
But it is awesome. The graphics look freaking amazing. Like I'm shocked. I'm like really shocked about that. And I'm a graphics guy. You guys know that.
So I played about half that game through the Dolphin emulator on PC, which shout out to Brian. It's pirating the game.
Well-known pirate. Yeah, thank you.
But yeah, I didn't beat it. But there was like HD patches and stuff by like mod support and stuff. But I never finished it. I want to play it after Emil beats it. I might borrow it or something.
How long to beat says 128 hours. So
For main
Yeah.
story?
yeah,
Holy moly.
it's big.
That's crazy.
Brian could not handle that.
I could not handle. That's why I haven't played it. Damn, I could not.
That sounds like a good game.
Mhm.
Yeah, the world's is freaking massive. I mean, it is. You can teleport to different places, which is good, but it is huge. It is huge. So, I'm definitely enjoying that one though. Melbro, you should check it out, man. Get on the hype train.
120 hours? No, fuck that. Hard pass for me.
That's Ratchet and Clank time that he could be playing.
Yeah.
For real, man.
Yeah, that's all I got. I've been focusing on that. So.
All right, cool. When we return, we will be going over our top 3 RPGs of all time. So please stay with us.